Hey, and good morning. Welcome back to the Hebrew Nation Morning Show. You are on with the Wise Guys -1 today. So good morning, Rick. How are you?
It is a beautiful morning.
In the neighborhood, a beautiful day.
Is.
In the neighborhood. You know what? We're going to be hit with a heavy dose of estrogen right about now.
Oh, yes.
I mean, we're coming close. We have this wonderful lady that I just really like talking to because she's open-minded and she's not overly weird, you know, and it's kind of cool to get her on. And she has this thing called Teshuvah Ministries. Her name is Rebekah Garvin, and she has things like setting women free from man-made religion. She has this hippie Hebrew girl thing that's a blog of the Sabbath. She has this thing that's called Serving Women, Youth, and Families. I mean, she seems to be really helping out ladies a lot. She even has this thing called Ladies of Teshuvah. I mean, what is that? You know, so I'm anxious to see where she's going and what she's doing. You know, we've had her on before. She comes all the way from northern Idaho, and I don't know if you ever been blessed by her.
Oh yes,
wasn't she kind of a kid?
Yes. When were you? You guys were in the studio with her, you and your husband, right?
Yeah.
I don't know if it was
we were.
6 years ago. I lose track of time. I don't know.
It was.
How long has it been?
2015
Really?
in the spring. Yeah.
Oh, that's a couple years ago.
Yeah, well,
I know.
That's
and then I came on last year. You guys had me on last year when I started my Ladies of Teshuvah workshop. Yeah.
Right.
So I just, one of these days I'm just going to drive back down there when you have me on the radio, and I'm going to show up instead of calling. I'm going to come into the studio and surprise
That'll be fun again.
Yes.
Yeah, because then we can tease you a little bit more appropriately.
It'll be like a reunion.
Well, I know. I know. It's totally better in person. I totally agree.
Well, I want to thank you for coming on this morning, Rebekah.
Thank you for having me.
The first question that I want to get into with you is that why do you feel called? I mean, I'm looking at your website, and you really have. It seems to have this passion as I look this out towards women, towards families. What got you motivated to try to minister towards women and the family in the home? I mean, what got you going down this path?
Oh, wow. Well, originally, it's my own story, too. I mean, as women coming out of Babylon as families, Isaac and I came out together, which was so awesome. So my whole family came out together. But I still had to figure out how to bring the hearts of my family along onto this journey. So, for one, it's a personal story. When I found out, how lonely this walk was going to be for not only us, but our children, then I started really moving into what can we do as a community for our children so they can meet each other so that, their world can expand into more, who's Hebrew over here? Who's Hebrew over here? Who's walking this path across the country, So then I started the Teshuvah College idea, which is where you guys and I met the first time.
Okay, wait.
I was really passionate about that.
Hold on just a second, because you've said this now 3 or 4 times, and we need to get away from some of the jargon. You're saying you walk this path, and then you set this path, and it seemed to be lonely on this path, and I'm going, well, what is the path that you're talking about? What is that?
Yeah, I'm talking about the narrow path of repentance. I'm talking about. I was a Christian, then I got woke up and realized, whoa, there's a covenant in here I'm supposed to be keeping, and that, his Shabbats are important, and the feast days, the biblical feast days are important, and I had been serving up Christmas and Easter and all this other stuff to my family, and realizing those were pagan, and I wasn't supposed to be doing that anymore. I was supposed to be serving the beautiful feast. So that narrow path, and when you start walking that narrow path, it changes your whole life. It affects every single part of your life. What you do in the kitchen, what you do at home in a homeschool and the holidays,
So then you being a wife and a mom, in your family, are they dragging their feet as you start to go down this path? And so this is what I want to get into. I mean, you start down this path, and you bring this family along, or maybe they were already along. I don't know. Correct us here.
Right. Yeah, so my family, we all came out our kids were really, really little. So they were, I think they were 3 and 5. I can't remember. They were young. They were really little. And so it was Isaac and I that basically got, washed in 30 hours of Michael Rood and did a turn, like a 180 from now we're this way, now we're going to obey, like within 2 weeks. And so we all came together, and that's not the story for a lot of women, but when you can do that, it's awesome. So I have never dragged my family. They love this. And I think one of the things I'm really passionate about is, and I know we're going to get into this ezer kenegdo thing in a little bit,
yes.
What a woman was created for, but, right at the beginning, it was like I realized that I had been giving for 33 years of my life. I'd been participating in Christmas, which is a whole bunch of glitter, glam, gluttony, all this other stuff, and you attach your family, you attach the hearts of your children to this pagan holiday with all this, tradition of glit and glamour, and I knew that, the eyes, your eyes are so important because you eat with your eyes, you eat with your ears and all your senses. And so my children are going to need new traditions to move them away from the pagan ones. They're going to need to attach. I wanted to help them attach to Papa's ways. So, and I say Papa, I mean Yahweh, YHVH Elohim, the creator of the universe. So, that has been a journey for me, but right from the get-go, I knew that was important. And so all the things that I did right from the get-go were focused on how can I bring my family's hearts along. So I never had to drag at all. In fact, my younger daughter is so on she holds me to the T. She's like, no, we do this for this holiday, holy day. You can't stop, Mom.
Okay, so what I'm curious about here is when I look at your website, okay, it seems like you show ladies how to set a table differently for feast days, or you're showing people how to have different sorts of games or different sorts of foods or doing this sort of thing. Isn't that just... I mean, there might be some people that would say, well, you're just replacing one glitz and glamour for another glitz and glamour. How would you explain this?
Well, I have to go, you go back to the scriptures and say, go to the scriptures. What did Yahweh say for us to do? He said for us to impress his ways upon our children. He told us to, speak of him and his ways when we sit up, when we lay down, when we sit, when we stand, all this other stuff when we're walking. We're supposed to delight in his ways. So Isaac and we have walked through a lot, and we've been taught a lot, and we walk with a lot of freedom, and I walk very closely to Yahweh, and I know that the delight, when he says delight, he's like, delight, literally delight, take my rules, take the boundaries and the guidelines of which I set for these feasts, and then delight in them and impress them upon your children. And when I think of that, I mean, how are you going to impress anything on anyone, especially your children, if you have, if you celebrate feasts on folding chairs with paper plates, it's no better than a potluck. I mean, you have to set these things apart. And so when you look at what, setting something apart means, when you make, you're setting something away and different from the other days. So you're doing a Havdalah sort of thing. You're creating a division between, the secular and the sacred. You're teaching your children how to set something apart. You do that with, inviting their heart into it. So, if those things are, those traditions are good and true and not rabbinical, but, something that is going to point your children towards Papa, then I think that is exactly what he's asking us to do. And here's another thing that I do, Roland, is that I look at the feast, so we study. So, and every year you can study these feasts and festivals of Yahweh to no end. I mean, there's constantly new things that he will bring to mind every year. We've been doing this for a long time, and I still am blown away as to new depths of understanding with each festival and each feast. But something that's really important to me is that I don't just make traditions for tradition's sake. So the traditions that we either adopt from Brother Judah that are good and clean, or new things that we decide to add to it, they're all kind of wrapped around the understanding of what that feast is about. So, even up to the aspects of how I decorate, it's we have something called Abraham's tent for Passover. And it's and for the Feast of Unleavened Bread. Hold on
a second.
Yeah,
if people want to, you can go to Teshuvah Ministries.
Yeah.
That's TES
with an H. Yeah.
HUVAH Ministries, And I was just, as you were talking, I was looking under your Feast of Yahweh place. And just so you know, if you're out there listening, you can actually go on here, and as Rebekah starts to talk to you about these tents or things, you can go on these photo galleries. And they're really kind of cool because you can see what she's actually talking about. Because I know this is a radio show, and you're listening to her talk, but maybe you're visual like me and like Rick.
Yes, no doubt.
And these are.
Ooh, I want to talk about that. Don't forget that moment. I want to talk about that. You're visual. I want to talk about. I'm going to write that down.
And so I'm looking at these cool little tents, and it's like really special. So you're creating an environment that seems to be pretty amazing, right?
Yes. Well, that's and it's like I have some friends on. I know one of my friends, Casey, on the Ladies of Teshuvah group. She has to remind herself and other ladies that Rebekah has been doing this for a long time. So you don't have to step out of the box the very first year that you start celebrating these feasts and do it like I do it, because I've had years of collecting things and years of preparing these feasts. So know that, when you go to my site and you look at those videos, and our YouTube channel has tons of videos, like feast videos, like I make trailers, so you can kind of really, there's music underlay in this teaching as well. But all those videos and all those pictures that you see, don't get overwhelmed. I've had ladies sometimes come on and get overwhelmed, but know that that's been something that that's what I live. I live and eat and breathe this rhythm. And I think that I really believe that in this rhythm of Yehovah, the feast rhythm, the holy day rhythm, all of them, that this is his lesson plan for us. This is what he wants us to be studying. So you look at what feast is coming up and you start studying that feast. What does it mean? What are the depths? What are the implications? What are the prophetic shadow pictures of it? What did Yahshua talk about as he was coming up to that feast or on that feast? What was he doing? And then we can go into the feast. We begin to prepare it, and then we go into it and celebrate it in a way that's going to impress upon our children, this rhythm that they're not going to let go of very easy. It's going to, it's going to attach to their hearts so much that they're going to go, wow, it's what time of year? Oh, I need to be doing this. This is going to be part of their life. You can hang your hat on it. And I think this is something that I mentioned to you in the little email I sent to you before the show, was that when we lost everything and when we went to the wilderness, like lost our home, lost our business, we're sent to live on the mountain in a tent for 4 years or 3.5 years, 4 winters. This rhythm, Yahweh's rhythm, was in our life at that point before we went to the wilderness, shortly before, but when we went into that wilderness experience, and it literally was the stabilizer for everything. So we were in the middle of free falling, but the one stable thing in our life was this rhythm. I mean, Yahweh is the stable thing, but through Yahweh stabilized our life through this rhythm that's his. And so everything, it didn't matter what we were going through, we were stopping to study the feast, we were stopping to celebrate. It was beautiful. So,
Hey, Rebekah?
Go ahead.
Yes.
Yeah.
So did I just hear you say you live in northern Idaho and you lived in a tent in wintertime in northern Idaho? Is that what you're saying?
That'd be warm and cozy, huh?
Yes. If you go...
Wow.
Oh my God! If you go to,
was it a big army tent?
No, it ended up being it's funny. It ended up being a teepee, and because it's a huge story, and someday maybe I could just have a show to do, a talk on that, because so many people are finding themselves in the wilderness time. They're leaving Babylon. They're seeing, their eyes are being opened. They're seeing that the narrow path they weren't actually on the narrow path, and they want to get on the narrow path. So they're leaving, and they're losing, business, losing, jobs, and losing family and friends, all this other stuff, and they're being moved into the wilderness time. And I understand why. I totally understand why you have to go to the wilderness. This was our wilderness time. He took us to the mountain, and we literally lived in a teepee for 3.5, 4 years, 4 winters. I count them by winters because the winters were so horrible. But if you go to my website and you go up to the lifestyle tab,
I just saw it.
I think it says you take into the wilderness, you'll see some links there. We have a video that we did while we were up there, actually, to show how we did stuff. It doesn't really tell that why yet, but the how we did stuff. But the why is coming. we're in the process of going to write a book. It's going to be a bestseller someday.
I was just reading under the lifestyle, because as you were bringing this up, again, go to Teshuvah Ministries, and you can pull under lifestyle, and you have the rhythm, like you were talking about, the holy day rhythm thing. And and it makes sense, I think I'm finally getting what you've been called to actually do. I mean, you're getting people excited about how to actually look forward to these feasts and make them special. Because when I go around with Hebrew groups or Messianic groups, most of them just don't know what to do. And and you seem to be lining this all up, where you say the feasts are prophetics, they're a lesson plan, they're a rhythm, they're holy, they tell a story, they give hope, they remind us, they keep us focused, and they're a sign of our alignment. So no wonder at the start of this show today, you said you're trying to do what? You're trying to impress this on your family, and there is one other thing. Impress it, and what was it?
I don't mind like a sieve. I don't know. I've gone on. But no, you're impressing. Let's see. You're impressing them. You want to impress this on your children and on the heart, so that they get attached to Yehovah's way. So you're going to take like a stamp. It's when I think of it, I think of like when the cowboys used to go, stamp their steers with a big hot iron kind of thing.
Right.
You're going to take the hot iron of, and I say this. This is the first time I think I've ever said this out loud, but the idea is the same. You're going to brand your children's hearts to Yehovah, and you're going to do that through following his rhythm in a way that's going to give them something to trade up to. Because this is something else I say a lot, is with the women especially, is that the heart will never trade down. So the heart will only trade up. The heart kind of has a mind of its own. So you can go ahead and have all knowledge, you can have all kinds of data in your head, and if if you don't have it in your heart, if your heart doesn't understand it or live by it or want it, then it means nothing. It's not going to get the data, all the information that this movement is getting. If you sit down in front of the TV or the radio or the blogs or whatever, and teachers, and you listen, and you eat all this stuff, but you never do anything. All that data is supposed to do, it has a point. The point is to move you into action, to move your heart and your body and your feet and your hands into action. But into what action? And we look at the covenant, look at the Torah, and it tells us.
So let's break this down really applicable, because I watched you on another video, and there was something that you said that really struck me, and I thought it was just fabulous when it comes to this heart thing in trading up. We always condemn in front of our kids the pagan holidays. We seem to throw condemnation out there like, how dare we keep Christmas, or how dare we keep Easter.
Right.
But from the kids' point of view, that is fond memories. That's when the family got together and they created a wonderful atmosphere, and it was loving and it was peaceful and it was and it was a generative thing. And so what I see you doing, and again, that's why I'm so excited about having you on, is you're saying, no, we got to trade up. We have to we have to celebrate Yahweh's feast days to let them know that these are wonderful. This isn't boring. It's cool. Right? Absolutely.
And we used to spend, I'd ask ladies all the time in my workshops and just whenever I said, how much money did you spend celebrating Christmas? And most of them are like undone with that question, because they realize they spent hundreds, if not thousands of dollars on this pagan holiday. Now they've turned into Teshuvah. And then I asked the second question. I said, how much money are you spending on Yehovah's feast? And they are undone. Some of them, and they begin to cry, because they realize they are not celebrating Yehovah's feast with as much money as they did before. They're not putting as much time and energy and focus, and the money's not. You just
okay. Stop. Because I have to slow you down just a little bit, because you're throwing a lot of stuff at us, and I love you, so I'm just going to stop it just a little bit, but because I want to hit you with some hard questions today, okay?
Yeah.
And this is where I see some women having a hard jump, all right? Because they leave the pagan holiday thinking that paganism or Christmas or Easter is tied into the money thing. And so when they start celebrating Yeshua's or Yahweh's feast days, then they're thinking, well, I shouldn't spend any money on these because it's pagan. And so, but you're trying to wrap them around a different thought that it's okay to spend money on these feast days. Now, explain this to me just a little bit more. Why would we swap one, let's dump a bunch of money into Christmas, and now we're going to dump a bunch of money into Pesach or Passover, okay? So help me settle that, because I'm a man, all right? So I got to get some.
Yeah. In your visual. I understand. I'm going to go to the visual in a little bit. Okay, so...
Okay, so help us out.
But tell me, so I got a question for you, I guess, in response. Is like,
Hebrew.
Is money is money wrong? I mean, okay, where we put our money is where we put our heart, really.
Yeah.
Where your treasure is, there your heart will be also idea. Where we put our money is where our heart is. And I see it real black and white. I see a good kingdom and I see an evil kingdom. I see the evil kingdom taking everything that the good kingdom is about, everything that Yehovah is about, and he's twisting it. He counterfeits it. And so he's going to give only a counterfeit to what Yehovah has already done. And so Yehovah has given us, if there wasn't money, it'd be fabulous. I mean, there's all kinds of resources that Yehovah has given us through this planet. You've got, everything that we make comes from his own resources. And so you're going to take his resources and you're going to celebrate his ways with his resources. Unfortunately, the way the world is set up, you actually have to have some money to buy certain things for those. But nevertheless, the idea is you're going to actually move your head and focus your head and your heart on his ways. And how can you do that in a beautiful way? This gets to the ezer kenegdo idea about the beauty. I mean, the woman being the beauty, and she's going to lead through her design.
Ezer kenegdo. Can you elaborate on that word a little bit? Ezer kenegdo.
Ezer kenegdo. What is that?
That is a good word. Explain it a little bit about it.
I would love to, because that is what I'm trying to scream out into the world through my website and stuff, and through what I do. Okay, ezer kenegdo is the Hebrew word for what Yahweh said when he said in Genesis 3, I think it's 3:16, where he said, I'm going to make a helpmate for Adam, but he didn't actually say helpmate. He said, I'm going to make a suitable helper for him. That's the way our scriptures translate it. But it's actually, the translator says, whatever, blah, blah, blah. Sorry, I'm getting tongue-tied. But what it really said was, I'm going to make an ezer kenegdo for you. And when you unpack that word, those two words, they will totally challenge everything we've ever been taught about what a woman is designed to do.
Wait a minute. I mean... You are going to say that men are not beautiful and that women are the only beautiful thing.
Men are created visually. Remember, they are created to identify beauty. They were created to look at beauty and go, "Oh, that's beautiful." Yes.
Thank you.
Yeah, I can,
we are.
Yes.
I will take that. That's all right.
I mean, if I look at a woman and I, as a woman, say to another woman, "You're beautiful," that doesn't have the impact that when a man looks at a woman and says, "You're beautiful." The impact is totally different. When a man says, "You're beautiful," wow, okay, that's cool. Because he was designed, one of the things he was designed for was to acknowledge beauty. So she's beauty, he was made to acknowledge beauty. But the ezer kenegdo, when you look at where that comes in the scriptures, when she was given and what she was given for, I mean, it's unbelievable. The ezer.
Hey, hang on tight. We're going to come back. Hang on tight.
Okay.
Hey, good morning. Welcome back to the Hebrew Nation Morning Show. You're on with the Wise Guys. And Rick, is this fun talking with Rebekah a little bit?
This is good. This is what his people need to hear. And, don't you believe, Rebekah, it's more than a movement. It's an awakening, isn't it? People are waking up to what we should have been doing all along. Yeah. And you're helping them.
Well, she's helping these women grow up.
So
you're
helping them you're teaching them how to do their feasts with their families. Is that what you're doing?
And impress
their families, their communities. Yeah, I mean, doesn't matter if you have a family or not. You know, your communities need you as well. If you're older, younger, married, single, doesn't matter. I mean, the women are either kenegdo, and they are waking up, which they're coming out of the woodwork right now. That's what I'm discovering is like the Ruach HaKodesh is waking up the ezer kenegdos, and I am blown away.
All right, so hang on with that thought. I want people out there that are listening, go to Teshuvah Ministries. That's TESHUVAH Ministries. And when you get online there, when you look at the webpage, you're going to be drawn to a couple different things that I really want to pull your attention to before we harass Rebekah just a little bit more. But there's it's called a Ladies Teshuvah Colorado National Convention. And I want you to put this down on your calendar because it's very important for you to attend. That's July 20 to 22, 2018. And some of these things that we're talking about, Rebekah's going to break these things down, okay, and get really specific with you and help you really understand these feast days and how to make them special within your home or within your family. And so that's the Ladies Teshuvah Colorado National Convention. That's July 20 to 22, 2018. So mark that down. Go to the website, Teshuvah Ministries, and you'll find out all about it. Also, if you're a lady out there or a man and you've gone, wow, I kind of like what Rebekah's doing, and I would like to help out that ministry and to help grow it a little bit, you can become a patron. And so on the front home page, you'll see this little beautiful picture. I think it's kind of cool. Rebekah's so good with graphics. It's just always amazing. But she has this picture here of a woman tied up in a rope with her hands, okay, and it says, help us. Set women free from man-made religion and become a patron. And so she has a mission here going on, and she's dedicated to helping people learn how to follow these feast days. So if you feel convicted and you would like to help out, spread that ministry around, that people need to know what these feast days are, I want to encourage you to help Rebekah and what she's doing here. So I think in this next half hour, Rick, let's give Rebekah a little bit of a harder time because I think she's getting way too free because we're talking, up in the air. This is all wonderful. We're going to impress our families. We're going to make a difference in the home, blah, blah, blah. Okay, but I am a man. And I don't want to keep the feast days, and I don't want to have her spend my money and create things in the home. This is stupid. This is ridiculous. I don't want you to do this, woman. All right? So don't go doing this to me. All right? So how would you bring me along? Okay, if I'm that stubborn, proud male, and I'm going, I don't want to do this. Okay? How would you help me? What would you do to me?
All right. That is hard tie you, wrap you up and drag you. No. That will not work, ladies. That will not work.
Okay. Explain that.
Okay. So what is so beautiful about the design that Yehovah made for a woman, it's written on our DNA, the ezer kenegdo idea. I'm not going to give it all away here, but the idea is that with your beauty, you lead. Not you as in Roland and Rick, you as in woman. The women lead with their beauty, and a man he's very visual, like you said, he will follow beauty. He will follow beauty. And if you look at King Solomon, you look at all kinds of stories in the scriptures where beauty either led to the wrong place, the worship of the wrong Elohim, or the worship of the right Elohim. So I have a story that I think is fabulous for this moment. It's my friend Wendy. She had this situation. Okay. Her husband wasn't attracted to this at all, didn't want to walk this narrow path, didn't want to, was all like, what are you doing? Because she was so moved. The ezer kenegdo within her was woke up. And she was moved to get rid of the pagan feast and to celebrate Papa's stuff. And she had 2 little boys. And this husband who didn't want to be involved. So she allowed him to just not be involved. What she did was she wooed him with her beauty. And I love her story. She would, on Fridays, prep day. She would clean the house while he was gone. She would make sure that the place was ready for Shabbat, had a beautiful meal ready, had candles on the table. Everything was ready to go when he got home from work. I know not all ladies can do this because a lot of ladies work at the same time, but there's got to be a way you can do something like this. But she made everything ready. And so when he got home, he'd say, well, you know, what chores do I need? Do I need to do this, that? Oh, no. It's all done. Don't worry. And so she invited him into rest with her simply by making sure she worked hard. She worked really hard. This job is not easy for a lady. This is going to take a lot of work and a lot of, dedication and endurance and perseverance to do this because it isn't easy. You might have to work extra hard. You might have to get up earlier. But Wendy ended up wooing her husband to this journey through that method. She literally wooed him. Yeah. I mean, beautiful meal on the table, candlelight, how could he complain?
So you were talking about wooing rather than dragging. Mm-hmm. You were talking about convincing through love and respect and not attitude and you're going to do this. Exactly. So you're making this really clear.
Yes, you have to. It's so much better to win somebody over with honey versus vinegar, as we all know. I mean, a woman that knows how to use her beauty is powerful. A woman that is ugly is, a woman who's gone bad is ugly and not powerful. She doesn't know how to use her beauty.
Okay, so I want to read something here and see what your reaction is to it. Okay.
Okay. All right.
This comes from a leading apostle.
Okay.
In the same way, you wives, be submissive to your own husbands, so that even if any of them are disobedient to the word, they may be won without a word by the behavior of their wives. As they observe your chastity and your respectful behavior, you don't let your adornment be external only, just by the braiding of your hair and the wearing of gold and putting on dresses. But you let your beauty be known by your inner person, your hidden person of the heart, with the imperishable quality of a gentle and quiet spirit, which is precious in the sight of Yahweh.
That was in Peter?
That is the man of man. Okay, that is the thunder boy. Okay, so Peter is the thunder boy. He's the muscle boy, and he's talking about woman's beauty here. What's up with that, Rebecca?
That is. Tell me what verse that was. That's 1 Peter.
That's 1 Peter 3. That's 1 Peter 3, 1 to 3, 1 to 4 actually.
1 to 3.
Yeah, 1 to 4.
That's beautiful. I mean, like, I thought you were going to quote me something else, but that is beautiful. I think what he was saying, I wish I had it in front of me here, but I love what he was saying. It's like but you're also like, you're strong women, you're not just passive and meek and mild and quiet. I mean, you've got strength inside of you to and here's another point I guess I would like to make here is that your first call is to follow Yehovah. For every single one of us, we're supposed to follow Yehovah and not man. Even if that man is our husband, we're not supposed to follow him out of the garden. We're supposed to follow Yehovah, no matter what anybody's doing. The Bible, the Scriptures makes it extremely clear that it is repentance and turning to Yehovah that is important for everybody. And we're not saved through what our men, we're not saved by our husbands or through our husbands. I think Yahshua made that very clear when he, with Miriam from Magdala, when, he said basically, your faith has saved you. She wasn't married. And he says this out loud in public. I think this is one of the reasons we're supposed to tell her story. There's several reasons why we're supposed to tell her story every single time the gospel is told. One of those reasons is because, he's making a point there that she wasn't saved through any man. She was saved because she followed Yehovah. She followed the Yahshua and didn't matter what anyone
But there's
saying.
Something here that I want to get to because I want to get your heart out here because it's your heart in your ministry that I think is addressing this in a little bit of a different way. Currently, we will have, and I'll see women do this, they go against their husband because they say, I'm following God and you're not. And then therefore therefore a peg is driven through in this relationship, and the relationship is destroyed. Now, the weird thing about this is, as you know, in the Garden of Eden, the two shall become one, and they are bound together. And the woman is asked to be covered by that man and still be obedient. Even if you look further down through Peter, Peter reminds us that Sarah was obedient to Abraham. And we also know, just by, who is that woman, that David went to her husband to ask for food. He didn't want to give it because her husband was a complete slob. Okay?
Oh, was that Abigail?
Yes. Abigail? Abigail,
And so Abigail still obeys, but she does things quietly, and she does things without fanfare. Okay? She doesn't get in the face of her husband. And and I think what I'm hearing you say, and when I look at your website, when I look at what you're trying to do, is I think you're still trying to create peace and love within the family without being in the face. Is that correct?
Mm-hmm. Yes, of course. I mean, you want, like I said before, you want to win somebody over with honey, not vinegar. So the best thing she can offer is her beauty. You know, I mean, the idea is to be ahad. That is, we were supposed to be ahad. It was the ezer kenegdo, the woman, and the zadok, the man, that were supposed to work in unity together. And Zadok was supposed to remember the words of Yahovah. He was supposed to remember what Papa had just told him, as in, don't eat of that tree. You can eat of any tree, but don't eat of that one. Oh, wait a minute. It's not good for you to be alone. Let me make a ezer kenegdo for you. So the two of them working together were going to obey Yahovah, you know, with power. And that was the powerhouse right there, was them together. So, you know, the best scenario is to have both together on this. I mean, I feel like Isaac and I coming out together, we were powerful. I really felt powerful. We fed each other. He protected me. I fed him with, you know, beauty and creativity, and that brought him into this rhythm with joy. And, you know, that he didn't even think of those things. He didn't think about setting the table beautifully or how to win the hearts of our kids over to this and stuff. So yes, togetherness is so important. But if the husband is absolutely dead set against this, and the lady and the woman, the wife, you know, has this huge choice in front of her, she has got to follow Yehovah. And with love, not with, you know, vinegar and spit and spite and, you know, screaming and kicking like you're talking about, but like with love. I really think that, you know, if he is open to Papa at all, and it will divide, in the sense that it will bring out in him what he really wants. Does he really want to follow you, or does he not? I mean, Yahshua came to divide. So there will be definitely some things there that are choices made by each of them, for sure. So it's not a guarantee that just if she, you know, pours on the love and the creativity and the beauty and all this, that it's going to happen, because he has a choice to make. But,
I think we need to spend a little bit more time with this beauty idea, because there might be some women out there that are listening that are going, oh, really? You know, so you're trying to be manipulative. You know, but when I think of this, and I think of the story of Esther, how did she convince the king? It was her beauty, and she set a table. Not just one table that she set up. She set a couple of these before she made her requests. You know, so what do you think of that whenever we talk about beauty?
I hands down love the story of Purim. I love Esther's story, because here she's in the middle of a death threat. I mean, there's a death threat hanging over. It's hanging over her head. She is going to die. Her family's going to die. Her nation is going to die if she doesn't do something. And what does she do? She fasts and prays. But my gosh, she comes up off that floor full of the Ruach HaKodesh, and what does she do? She knows what she's going to do. Her plan is to woo the king. I mean, she must be torn up inside. She must be so terrified inside. In fact, if you read the Apocrypha and you read her prayer, you see the terror inside of her, but you see the commitment and the resolve as well. And she throws a banquet. She's going to put on her best. She is going to like just traumatize that king with her beauty, and she's going to get him in the palm of her hand. And that is what she was like you talk about ezer kenegdo. Look at Esther. That is so what she did. She really played that role.
I want to set something straight here because I need you to clarify here because that beauty. Well, let's back up. This king was an absolute jerk. Okay, he was an absolute jerk. In fact, we learn in history that the reason why people wanted to kill him is because he was a lousy king. He was not a great king. All right, and the other thing that's really important is that Vashti, which was kicked out, she was kicked out because she would not come before the rest of the party without any clothes on, but only wearing her crown. That's the reason why he brought her there, okay? Was saying, I want you to obey me, and I want you to come in front of my friends with no clothes on, with just your crown on and a smile, okay? And she said no. And he says, well, then you're kicked out. So this is the environment that Esther is thrust into. And so Esther not only creates beauty, she creates a mystery about beauty, something that's saying, you can't touch me, but you have to admire me, which is so cool. And so I think if I'm the belligerent husband telling you, I don't want that in my house, go away. This is stupid. And if I listen to the words of Peter, and I want your reaction to this, and I take this and I go, okay, husband, I love you, and you've had a hard day at work, coming into my banquet, gonna give you a shoulder rub. How can any tough guy say no to that? Right?
Well, okay, I'm going to share. So Shabbat morning, it's a woman really thought through this and figured out how to woo her own husband. I mean, it could be anything from Shabbat morning, sleep in with your hubby kind of thing to, picnicking or fishing. I mean, you can meet your husband and you can woo him into setting this day apart, setting the feast days apart in a way that's good for him, a way that's good for your family and you, for your family, and that's going to, woo them into a new rhythm, whether that looks like your family gets up and, goes out to eat for breakfast, or whether you get up and you go fishing with your husband, or whether you get up and you, whatever it is. I mean, we can be so creative, but you're right. I mean, I think it's Shabbat morning is the morning I sleep in with my husband, and we cuddle and we, partake in the beauty of marriage on that morning. He looks forward to that morning because that's the morning that I'm there available. That he loves that morning because I'm there. I'm naked with my man, I'm
for you.
What am I supposed to be? So, why would he not want,
Exactly.
Women, we are talking about the creation of Yehovah. We were made in his image. Women were made beautiful in the image of Elohim. And when we go and we start to say we can't use it, we're using it and it's manipulative, that's Hasatan he's feeding us lies. That's making an agreement with him, because beauty was Yehovah's original idea. It wasn't Hasatan's idea. It was Yehovah's idea. And Hasatan just wants to destroy the beauty. He wants to twist it and get us to use it in ways that are not the ways that Yehovah wants us to use it in. So as we explore the ezer kenegdo,
I have you for about 3 to 4 more minutes, and there's one last question I have to ask you. Okay, this is a toughie.
Oh, no.
Okay. But on your website, you have this one link here. It goes, minimize no more. Women oppressed in a man-made religion too long. It's time for a change. Now, I know you're not a man-hater, okay? I don't get that from you.
Absolutely not. I love men.
So explain this. What do you mean, women oppressed in a man-made religion too long? What does that mean?
It means that in Christianity and all the man-made religions, everything is man-made religion unless you're walking the ancient path that Yehovah has commanded in the Torah. All of that is man-made, and all of it has sought on some level to minimize the woman and the God-given, creator-made within her ezer kenegdo. So if any religion, which they all do, you look in history, you study them, you know what they are about and what they have said, the fathers of Christianity, how they viewed women. It's all been to suppress women and to suppress the beauty. And by doing that, you kill the ezer kenegdo. You destroy the ezer kenegdo, which is what we were created to do. I mean, this is huge. This is what I want to cover in the conference. This is what I want to cover in workshops. I'm going to this is what I really want right now to help Yehovah do, as he's waking up these ezer kenegdos. I want to help, give them a little information as to, who they are, what they've been suffering under, and what they're called to do.
So why aren't you teaching men that?
At some point, Isaac and I have talked about doing a conference for both and talking about the Zadok. But at first, I feel like I really want to grab these women first. And then I really think that once we grab the women and help them wake up and understand what they're supposed to be doing with their life and their beauty, then I really believe that the men will easily come along, but also they'll be more open to, what the Zadok is all about. What was man created for? And together they're working hard. So, yeah, someday I really want to do a couples conference, where we talk with both and how that looks. But you got to, heal. You got to get healed individually so that you can operate correctly.
Okay, so we have a couple minutes, and I'll let you give me your best plug on why people need to be, why women need to be beautiful and bring in feast days in the home. Best plug.
Yeah. Oh man. Okay, ladies. If you, and by the way, ladies, I want you to come join my Ladies of Teshuvah Facebook group. So if you go and type in Ladies of Teshuvah with an H, just like he was telling you how to spell it, join our group. And you'll get, I have a Happy Hippie Hebrew Girl show that I do every week that you can participate in and have real-time conference with me. But anyway, ladies, you are created in the image of Elohim. You are created as an ezer kenegdo. An ezer kenegdo is beautiful when you unpack it and you understand that he made you to be a guide, to be a boundary setter, to be a lifesaver, to be a protector of your man. And when you operate well in your ezer kenegdo, as an ezer kenegdo, which is written on your DNA, you can't get rid of it. It explains a ton of what women have been pursuing and what they, how they operate. When you operate, when it's surrendered to Papa and it's healed and restored to be what he wants you to, how he wants you to operate as an ezer kenegdo, you are going to win your families over to proper worship and basically help your families repent. Because if you don't get this, you're going to either lead your family into worshiping the pagan gods, or you're going to lead your family into worshiping the true Elohim, Yehovah Elohim, the living Elohim. It's one or the other. You're going to lead one or the other direction. There's no other way. There's no gray area. It's black and white. So
that's a good word.
This is good stuff.
What's going on? But hey, if you were listening to this last hour of the Wise Guys, I'm sure you were blessed in that we had Rebekah Garvin all the way from Teshuvah Ministries in northern Idaho talking to us about how women can make a difference within the home, within the family. And I tell you, it was such a blessing having her here. If you were blessed and want to talk to us about it, or maybe you want to find out more information about her, please feel free to call in at 503-967-3001. Okay? And you want to find out more about our guests and more about what she's doing. Look up Teshuvah Ministries. That's TESHUVAH Ministries. And it'll take you to the website, and it'll tell you about some of the things that she's doing. She sells different products for games and stuff like that within the home and making things fun for the family. She also does a live interaction that's called the Happy Hippie Hebrew Girl, HHH Girl, okay, and it's a Shabbat show. She has a convention coming up in July in Colorado. It's the Ladies Teshuvah Colorado National Convention. That's from July 20 to 22 this year, 2018. Also, if you've been hearing this show and you're convinced, we kind of like that Rebekah's reaching out and trying to help women get creative in the home and bring beauty back into the home, you can become a patron. And it's called Set Women Free from Man-Made Religion. Become a patron. So, go on our website, find out a little bit about bringing beauty into the home and celebrating the feasts of Yahweh.